Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 4th July 2025. In this video, I am going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You might be knowing it is a highly expensive training course, but we are providing complete free training including all the advanced strategies I developed. You can access all the training lessons at our NeoStock YouTube channel. So to access the lessons at our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing Community tab. In that case, click on the tab. Then you get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that is having all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. To access the first lesson, scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions. Then it will be useful to you. My training instructions are provided at our Telegram channel. You can find the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. From the video description, join at our Telegram channel, and in the old messages you can find the training instructions, or even in the pinned messages also you can find the training instructions in the Telegram channel. If you learn this course according to my training instructions, then you will become a very good independent trader in the coming days. Please make use of this opportunity. Now let's get into the supply demand zone report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. So in this report, I am going to generate daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones, and then I will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain reports. After that, I will be generating sideways trade setup, bullish trade setup, and bearish trade setup, supply demand zones for monthly income trade, weekly income trade, daily income trade, and hourly income trades. After that, I will be generating finding the stocks near demand and supply zones for 11 time frames. Apart from that, weekly and above time frame, I will also generate stocks price closed inside the demand and supply zones, and also having the zones with EMA Confluence related to the time frame. And finally, at the end of the report, I will be generating stop buffers based on ATR values, daily ATR values. So this is what you will be seeing in this report. So first I am generating daily and 75 minutes HLQ zones in the stocks near daily and 75 minutes demand and supply zones as per the concepts I explained in lesson 21.3 videos. So those who wants to use HLQ zone intraday strategy, you must complete lesson 21.3 video where I explained the entire strategy in detail with examples. Okay, first daily time frame, stocks near to the daily demand zone. We got 12 stocks. Now let us identify daily high liquidity demand zones from this list. Bajaj Finserv is having a daily high liquidity demand zone, and if you observe, this is also having daily high liquidity supply zone. When a stock is near both daily demand and supply zones, and distance is also not very wide, it is almost near 2%. At that time, you may get trade opportunities on either side. Either side you may get trade opportunities. So that way you can get opportunities as well as short opportunities in this daily high liquidity supply zone, and also long opportunity in the daily high liquidity demand zone. Remember, this is even though it is stocks near demand zone. See the next one, the supply zone we are not considering because demand zone is not a high liquidity zone. Stocks near demand zones, you should focus only on the demand zones. Only exception is If the demand and supply zones are high liquidity zones, they are very near to each other, maybe around 2 to 3% difference, then you can consider both the zones. Okay, this is the first one. Next, that's it. All are normal demand zones or Pierce demand zones. This is the only one daily high liquidity demand zone identified from this list. And also remember, I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So I request you pause the video, study the report, and then move on to the next report. Those who don't understand the structure of this report, I request you complete training lesson 21.1 video. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, daily time frame. Stocks near to the daily supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Let us identify daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Amber is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Naukri is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We got 2 stocks having a daily high liquidity supply zone, and price is near to the high liquidity supply zones. Okay, 2 stocks we identified. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone. We got 13 stocks. And let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. And Adani Enterprises is having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Idea is having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Trent is having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. See, it is having 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone, but we are not considering. The reason is the distance is very far, 13% distance. That's why our focus is only on the high liquidity demand zone, even though it is having both zones as high liquidity zones. But Trent is not a valid zone. Why? It is a pierced zone. Pierced zone, you can't use HLQ zone strategy. So that's why this is not valid. And third one is Zydus Life. This is a daily high liquidity demand zone. So total 3 stocks we identified. Adani Enterprises, then Idea, and then Zydus Life. These are the 3, sorry, not daily, sorry for the mistake. These are the 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones. Okay, next, 75 minutes time frame. Stocks near to the 75 minute supply zone, we got 11 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. Bharti Airtel is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Godrej Consumer Properties is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Next, Hindustan Petroleum is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Hindustan Unilever is not valid because it is a pierced zone. 7 times it is pierced. Something interesting here. Those who are having a familiarity with pierced zone strategy, as I explained in lesson 28, those people can use this zone as a pierced zone. You can analyze, identify the reasons, and any suitable trades are there, you can plan. But HLQ zone strategy, it is not valid. Okay. Next, fourth one is OFSS is having 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. And Tech Mahindra is having 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. So we have identified 5 valid 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, this is about HLQ zone identification from daily and 75 minutes time frames. We have completed. Next, we will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain reports. Starting with NIFTY, generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain report. In any supply demand zone chain report, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones, and also look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And also you already learned one time frame higher is ITF and one more time frame higher is HTF. You are aware of those points. And also don't forget to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report, because I am giving you very few seconds time. And remember the same points for the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 125 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 75 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 25 minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is about NIFTY supply demand zone chain reports. Next, I will generate BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain reports. Changing the name to NIFTY Bank. That is nothing but BANKNIFTY. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain report. So we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain generation. Next, I will generate bullish, bearish, sideways trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. First, I will generate a sideways long trade setup for monthly income trade. For any monthly income trade, entry time frame is daily, and entry zone for long trade setup should be sideways long trade setup should be demand zone. And also in this bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame daily, I am selecting sideways long trade setup. And zone achievement should always be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhancer score should always be 11 for sideways, 12 for bullish or bearish. Because it is sideways, I selected 11. And third filter, pierced zones, I am not applying for entry time frame daily, because any those who wants to use pierced zone strategies, any generated pierced zone reports you can use. Others can ignore those pierced zones in case if they are generated. And weekly income trade onwards, I will be filtering even pierced zones. We will see only valid zones. Okay, now I am filtering the stocks. We got 7 stocks. All these 7 stocks, entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. See, some of these zones are already tested. All these are all daily demand zones. Next, we will generate a sideways short trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are daily supply zone and one more change on daily time frame, sideways short. With these filters, we got 2 stocks. And entry time frame zones are daily supply zones for short trade setup. Okay, next I will generate a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. The changes are daily demand zone and here bullish, and one more change, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12 for bullish or bearish. Let's filter. We got 16 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, and all the entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. All these are all daily demand zones. So total we got 16 daily demand zones supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Out of these 16 daily demand zones, we can further filter them based on different zone confluence strategies to find the high probability trade setups. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly. So daily and weekly demand zone confluence supported stocks. So we have to filter them on these 16 stocks. For that I am adding one more filter in our search strategy builder. That is a demand zone confluence. In this parameter, I am selecting the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. I enable the filter and it is applied on those 16 stocks. Now the list is come down to 12 stocks. In these 12 stocks, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. If daily zone is overlapped with weekly, what does it indicate? Generally, we assume weekly zone might be having much stronger order flows compared to daily zone. But if the daily zone is overlapped with weekly, we can assume its order flow is much stronger. So that is the reason why we may assume these 12 stocks order flow could be a bit better. But at the same time, EMA confluence also plays the role here. Because the weekly trend, ITF is weekly, the weekly trend is up in all the stocks and daily is overlapped in this weekly zone, we can further filter them based on those weekly demand zones having weekly EMA confluence. Because daily is part of weekly, this combination may give you high probability trade setup supported daily demand zones. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame. Why weekly? Because the daily is overlapped with weekly. That's why we are looking for weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, you already learned weekly, whenever we use EMA confluence, the trend should not be sideways. It can be up or down. But weekly trend for bullish trade setup is uptrend for all the stocks. So we can, without any fear, we can filter. There are no sideways trend stocks are available on ITF time frame. ITF inside bullish or bearish trade setups, sideways is always bullish trade setup uptrend, bearish trade setup downtrend. That's why, see here, ITF trend, all stocks are uptrend always. Okay. So now we got 8 stocks. That's why these 8 daily demand zones might be having strong institutional order flows. So that way we may say they could be high probability trade setup supported zones. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise the zones might be violated. So that's why in all these zones, daily zones, you should apply lesson 20 checklist items and then only you should plan the trades. Directly you should not plan. According to lesson 20, checklist items you should plan. That's a very, because I hope you all completed lesson 20 checklist item concepts. Okay, but otherwise these are the high probability trade setup zones based on daily and weekly demand zone confluence and weekly EMA confluence. Okay, apart from this, one more combination also we can verify. That is a daily, weekly and even monthly. All the zones confluence together. Daily is overlap with weekly. Both together should overlap with monthly. Such kind of zones we have to identify. So let's identify. Going back. Removing this ITF EMA filter. Now we are focusing on HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, first we have to set 3 filters. Out of 3, first one is already enabled, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Next filter, daily and monthly demand zone confluence, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 5 stocks. So in these 5 stocks, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with the weekly demand zone, both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. And luckily monthly demand zone, the trend is up in all the stocks. Because if sideways is there, we have to eliminate them. But here we have all the stocks are uptrend. That's why if we check if these monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA, because trend is up, then the overlapped daily demand zones inside the monthly might be having even more stronger institutional order flows. Of course, lesson 20 checklist item should satisfy. So let's verify those stocks. So EMA confluence at monthly. Why monthly? Because daily together with weekly are overlapped inside the monthly. So that is the reason why we are checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA or not. Anyway, all stocks, filtered stocks are having trend uptrend, monthly trend. So we can filter the stocks. We got 1 stock. That way, this daily demand zone, which is overlapped with weekly and both together again overlapped with monthly, that monthly is having monthly EMA. That's why this daily demand zone might be having strong institutional order flows. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied, otherwise zone might be violated. Lesson 20 we should not forget. Then only you should plan the trades. How we filtered? Always look into the search strategy, you will understand. See here monthly, weekly, monthly, daily, weekly, daily, all 3 are overlapped with each other. And EMA confluence also we verified based on monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. MEMAC means monthly EMA confluence. Okay, this is a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame is a daily, entry zone is a supply zone, bullish or bearish or sideways. At daily time frame I am selecting bearish and zone achievement should be violated opposing zone and minimum odd and enhanced score should always be 12 for bullish or bearish. So with these filters, we got two stocks. These two stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So two stocks are filtered. Out of these two, how many are having ITF, LTF, demand zone confluence? Let's verify. In the demand zone confluence. Sorry for the mistake. Supply zone confluence. Because this is bearish trade setup, we should look into supply zone. That is, a daily and weekly supply zone confluence filter is enabled. Both stocks are filtered. That means in both the stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down. Let's verify if these zones are having weekly with weekly EMA. So in the EMA confluence at weekly, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA. Trend is downtrend. Both stocks are filtered. That way both these supply zones are having more high probability to get success, provided less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. See, this zone is already tested once. Okay. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. Supply zone confluence, two filters I am going to set. Sorry, three filters. First filter is already enabled, daily and weekly. Next, daily and monthly supply zone confluence. Weekly and monthly supply zone confluence. With all the three filters, again we got both the stocks. That means both these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA. But monthly supply zone, because trend is sideways trend, EMA confluence does not give any advantage. But because the others are, except this, the remaining all conditions are satisfied, they are high probability trade setup supported zones. Maybe that is the reason why this zone is already tested. Maybe it might have been tested today, we don't know. Because I remember yesterday also the zone is filtered. I thought yesterday the test count was 0. If that is the case today, it would have given. Those who used yesterday's report, they would have got a trade today. In case, if you would have got a trade today. $714 is a type 1 proximal entry. Maybe you might have taken a deep trade. Even if you would have taken type 1 proximal entry, still see, already it gave you around 22 rupees profit, 22 or 23 rupees. 25 rupees profit it would have given you already. Over 25 rupees profit. Okay, fine. So this is a bearish trade setup for a monthly income trade. Next, let us look into weekly income trade reports. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone, demand zone for sideways long trade setup. So here at 75 minutes, I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 11 for sideways. And also 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? Demand zone or supply zone? Whatever you select here, we selected 75 minutes demand zone. So for 75 minutes demand zone, the pierced count 0 will be applied. Only those stocks having pierced count 0 will be displayed. Apart from that, these two filters, so total 3 filters. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got one stock supporting sideways long trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame is 75 minutes demand zone. Okay, next we will look into sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes supply zone and also here sideways short. Now the filters, all the filters are applied to 75 minutes supply zone. We got two stocks. And entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zones. So this is tested already once. Okay, next we will look into bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. The changes are 75 minutes demand zone. Here it is bullish. And also minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. Let's filter the stocks. So we got 17 stocks supporting bullish trade setup. So first 16 stocks in the list. In all the stocks, entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones because it is bullish trade setup. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 17 stocks are filtered. All are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zone, 75 minutes demand zones. Okay, out of these 17 demand zones, there could be more high probability trade setup supported zones might be available. Let us filter them based on zone confluence and then EMA confluence filters. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is nothing but 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. LTF is 75 minutes, ITF is daily. So I am enabling the filter and applying the filter on those 17 stocks. Now the list is come down to 14 stocks. In all these 14 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. And also daily trend, that is nothing but ITF trend, is up in all the stocks. So we can further filter by checking how many daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, so that the overlapped 75 minutes demand zones inside daily might be having strong institutional order flows. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, because 75 minutes demand zone overlapped with the daily, so we are checking daily demand zone having daily EMA or not, because daily trend is also uptrend in all the stocks. Let's verify. Now the list is come down to 8 stocks. That way these 8 75 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flows because they are overlapped with daily. Those daily zones are having daily EMA and also daily trend is up in all the stocks. But remember, lesson 20 checklist item should be satisfied for all these daily demand zones. Otherwise, there are higher chances zones might be violated. We should not forget lesson 20 checklist items. Before planning the trades, all lesson 20 checklist items should satisfy. Okay. This is based on LTF, ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence strategy. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence, and after that HTF EMA confluence strategies. Let us apply. Okay, I am moving on to the next page. Now I am removing this EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should focus on HTF. First we will focus on HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is LTF, ITF, HTF. So 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 75 and daily demand zone confluence. Next 75 demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. I enabled all the 3 filters, that is 75 minutes, daily and weekly demand zone confluence supported stocks. With all the 3 filters, we got 7 stocks. In all the 7 stocks, these daily demand zones, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone, both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. Sorry for the mistake. These are not daily demand zone. These are the 75 minutes demand zones. All these are all 75 minutes demand zones. All these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. Again, both together are overlapped with weekly demand zone. So HTF is weekly because this is weekly income trade. So and trend is up in all the stocks except the sixth one. So remove the sixth one, remaining stocks. Out of 7 remaining 6 uptrend stocks, let us check if any of the weekly demand zone having weekly EMA. In that case, the overlapped 75 minutes demand zones inside weekly might be having strong institutional order flows and high probability to get success. So let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at weekly time frame, I am checking weekly demand zone with weekly EMA. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. One stock sideways, we don't want that. So that's why I'm selecting the trend as uptrend, because it is bullish trade setup. Let's verify. So we got 3 stocks. Out of 6, 3 are filtered. Out of 6 uptrend, HTF uptrend stocks, 3 are filtered. That way, these two 75 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flows or high probability to get success. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones might be violated. Okay. So this is about bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, let us look into bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So entry time frame is 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. Here bullish, bearish at 75 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score 12. And also 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 5 stocks. These 5 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. So total 5 75 minute supply zones we got. Out of these 5, how many might be having strong institutional order flow and having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and then EMA confluence strategies. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is nothing but 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. I enable the filter and applying the filter. Again we got all 5 stocks. That means in all the 5 stocks, these 75 minutes supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And also daily trend, that is ITF trend is down in all the stocks. We can further filter based on weekly supply zone. Sorry, not weekly, daily. ITF is daily. So daily supply zone having daily EMA. In that case, the overlapped 75 minute zones inside daily might be having strong institutional order flow. Let's verify. The EMA confluence. A daily time frame. I am checking daily supply zone having daily EMA. In all the daily zones, trend is a downtrend, and this 75 minute zone, entry zone, overlapped inside the daily. Let's verify. We got only 1 stock. That way, this 75 minute supply zone might be having strong institutional order flow or maybe having high probability to get success. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. We should not forget that point. Okay, fine. Next, let us look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I'm going back, removing this EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 and daily supply zone confluence. Next, 75 minutes and weekly supply zone confluence. Daily and weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got two stocks. So in these two stocks, these 75-minute supply zones overlapped with weekly supply zone, both together again overlapped with, 75-minute supply zone overlapped with daily, both together overlapped with weekly supply zone. But weekly trend is down in only one stock. Let's verify this stock weekly supply zone having weekly EMA. Weekly supply zone with weekly EMA. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be only downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So that one stock is filtered. That way this 75-minute supply zone might be having high probability to get success. So this is bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, we will look into daily income trade reports. For daily income trade, entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone for sideways long, and also bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup. At 15 minutes, I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, and minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. Sorry, it should be 11 for sideways, 12 for bullish or bearish. Because it is sideways, I selected 11. And also the 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count parameter, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. Which zone? 15 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter. We got one stock. That way this demand zone, 15 minutes demand zone, is supporting sideways long trade setup for daily income trade. Okay, next sideways short trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are 15 minute supply zone and also sideways short. With these filters, we got 4 stocks. Sideways short trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. So this is already tested once. Okay. Next, bullish trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are 15 minutes demand zone and also here bullish. And one more change, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. So with these filters, we got 9 stocks. All these 9 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. So we got total 9 stocks. Out of these 9, let us further filter based for finding the high probability trade setup supported zones. That we will filter based on different zone confluence and then EMA confluence strategies. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is a 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. Let's apply that filter. In the demand zone confluence, I am selecting 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I enable the filter, applying on those 9 stocks. We got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, all these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And the 75 minutes trend is uptrend in all these stocks. Let's further filter if the 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. At 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence, we are checking because 75 minutes trend is uptrend. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. That way these two 75 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success, provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. See, this is already tested once. Okay. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes, 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily demand zone Confluence supported stocks. Removing ITF EMA filter. In the demand zone Confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily demand zone Confluence, 75 minutes and daily demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone, both together again overlapped with daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in only one stock. Let's verify if this daily demand zone having daily EMA. In that case, the overlapped 15 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. EMA at a daily time frame, I'm checking daily demand zone having daily EMA. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So this one stock is filtered. So this is even more high probability trade setup. Maybe that is the reason why this zone is already tested twice. Maybe old reports, whoever got these stocks would have got these trades. Okay, this is a bullish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish at 15 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. 15 minute supply zone. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and the entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. We got 3 stocks. Out of these 3, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone Confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone Confluence. I am enabling that filter. Applying on the 3 stocks, we got only 1 stock. So this 15 minute supply zone overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Let's verify if 75 minutes trend is having daily EMA Confluence. The 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. So it is filtered. That way this zone might be having more high probability to get success. Provide lesson 20 checklist items are satisfied. Okay, apart from that, we will also further verify based on LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone Confluence support. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone Confluence, 3 filters I am setting. First filter is already enabled here. Second filter 15 minutes and daily supply zone Confluence, and 75 minutes and daily supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, again we got the same stock. That means this 15 minute supply zone overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. But daily trend is sideways. Sideways trend EMA does not give any advantage. So we are not checking EMA Confluence on daily time frame. But already 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. So this is a bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Remember, before using this, the lesson 20 checklist item should satisfy. Otherwise, zone might be violated if they are not satisfied. Checklist items. Okay, this is a bearish trade setup for daily income trade. We have completed daily income trade reports. Next, we will look into hourly income trade reports. For hourly income trade, entry time frame is 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, and here bullish, bearish, sideways at 5 minutes. I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 11 for sideways, and 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 6 stocks. These 6 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are supporting sideways long trade setup. Some of these zones are tested already. This one is tested. Okay, next sideways short trade setup. The changes are 5 minute supply zone and one more change here. Sideways short trade setup. Let's apply. We got 4 stocks. And entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. This is tested 3 times. This is tested once already. Next, bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Changes are 5 minutes demand zone. And here bullish. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. Let's filter. We got 13 stocks. In all the 13 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. So total we got 13 5 minutes demand zones. Out of these 13 5 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we should filter based on zone confluence and EMA confluence. Okay, first filter is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. That is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. By enabling the filter, applying on the 13 stocks, we got 10 stocks. In all these 10 stocks, 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zones. And 15 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks. Let's verify if any of the 15 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. Because 15 minutes trend is up, let's filter. None of the stocks are having EMA, no high probability trade setup zones. Now let us look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Remove EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First one is already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all 3 filters, we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, all the 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zones. Both together again overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in 4 stocks. Let's verify in these 4 stocks, any 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. At 75 minutes time frame, 75 minutes demand zone, demand zone with daily EMA. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes demand zone should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Let's filter. We did not get any high probability trade setup stocks for hourly income trade, bullish trade setup. Okay, next we will look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zone is 5 minutes, entry zone is supply zone, bullish or bearish. At 5 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. All these are all 5 minute supply zones. Okay, out of these 7 5 minute supply zone, how many are having high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. Let's verify. So in the supply zone confluence, I am setting the filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone. I enable the filter. Now we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. And 15 minutes trend is a downtrend in all the stocks. Let's verify any 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. In the EMA Confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am checking 15 minute supply zone with daily EMA. One stock is filtered. That way this 15 minute supply zone might be having better high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why it is already tested once. Okay, next let us look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. Supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got only one stock. So in this stock, this 5 minute supply zone overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. But 75 minutes trend is sideways. Sideways trend, EMA confluence we don't use. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. With this we have completed all the income trade reports. Next we will generate finding the stocks near demand and supply zones and also price closed inside demand and supply zones for weekly and above time frames. Let us generate. Starting with yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone, we got one stock. Next, price closed inside the yearly supply zone, we don't have any stocks. Next time frame, half yearly, stocks near half yearly demand zone, no stocks. Stocks near half yearly supply zone, also no stocks. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Next time frame is quarterly, stocks near to the quarterly demand zone, we got 1 stock. Next, stocks near to the quarterly supply zone, no stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 10 stocks. We can further filter this list based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. Quarterly demand zone with quarterly EMA. At the same time, trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So we got 6 stocks. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone and those quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. Okay, next we will look into price closed inside the quarterly supply zones. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. Out of these 19, how many quarterly supply zones are having quarterly EMA? Let us filter. In the EMA at quarterly, I am checking quarterly supply zone with quarterly EMA confluence, and also the trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, we got 3 stocks. Okay, next time frame is monthly. Stocks near to the monthly demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Next, stocks near to the monthly supply zone, we got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone, we got 18 stocks. We can further filter this list based on monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. Let's filter. At monthly, checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down trend. With these filters, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA confluence. And also current price closed inside those monthly demand zones. Okay, next. Monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got several stocks, first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 41 stocks are filtered. Out of these 41, how many monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence? Let's verify. In the EMA confluence, at monthly time frame, I am checking monthly supply zone having monthly EMA. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be downtrend because it is, it can be up or down. Let's filter. We got 13 stocks. All these 13 stocks price closed inside the monthly supply zone, and those monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence. So this is about monthly time frame. Next we will look into weekly time frame. Weekly time frame, stocks near to the weekly demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone, we got 12 stocks. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. First 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at weekly, I am checking weekly demand zone with weekly EMA. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So we got 10 stocks. So current price is closed in these 10 weekly demand zones, and those weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Okay, next, price closed inside the weekly supply zones. We got a big list, first 15 stocks in the list. Total 67 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at weekly, I'm checking a weekly supply zone having weekly EMA. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, now we got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks are filtered. This is about weekly time frame. Okay, the next time frame daily is already generated in the beginning of the report. So I am moving on to the next time frame, 125 minutes time frame. For 125 minutes, stocks near to the 125 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Next, Stocks near to the 125 minute supply zone, we got 15 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes, already generated in the beginning of the report. So the next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone, we got 12 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minute supply zone, we got 7 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Okay, next, stocks near to the 15 minutes supply zone, we got 9 stocks. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone, we got 8 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 5 minute supply zone, we got 10 stocks. So with this we have completed both stocks near demand and supply zones for all the time frames. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.